Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Assalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi
So,
wa Hello, everybody. We're here to just give a quick update with regarding the lawsuit of Salman Rahim versus the cult of TMOA, the Muslims of America, Tmoans. And it's going to be a pretty quick show because we're just going to go. They had just a little background. Um, they had TMOA initially tried to get the case dismissed, the petition dismissed that Sal put in for the lawsuit, pretty much claiming that whatever his name is, Kari Ishmael, who was the mayor of the land there, who kicked him off, who was a member of the Shura Council, was acting on his own, or he's a volunteer and he had nothing to do. They also claimed that Sal was suing the wrong organization, and the judge kind of just like threw that back in their face and basically gave him 21 days to actually give a real response. So the 21 days are up, and they submitted their response. Hussein, can you hear us? Because we got no mic or camera from you.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just working on the camera right now.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first show, because their response is what I would expect of actual real legal responses compared to the last one they sent, which was more of an emotional TMOA response. Well, I think their lawyer actually got the free rein to actually submit a real legal response, and looks like he did his best efforts to kind of clean up what they were providing. So I'm going to share what they provided real quick, just to show that we're not making anything up. Where is it at? We're not making, just so easy, because Sal and Mo, or not Sal, Hussein and Mo went right down to the courthouse and just did a FOIL request and asked for the documents. This is all public knowledge. You can go down there as well and ask for the documents. So it's going to share that we actually have them. But then we're going to go back to the initial complaint, because their response is to the initial complaint. Yeah. The responses that they give here are just pretty much kind of like bland, and we revert back to it when we need to get some more information. But let me just share it real quick so you guys can know what I'm talking about.
While you're pulling that up, even within that bland, simple answers that y'all are going to see in this response, it's just literally them incriminating themselves and proving that they were lying in their initial motion to dismiss. Mm-hmm. They're lying on every level, and if you just open your eyes, you'll see it's basic and easy to discern through the lies, because it's right in your face.
Yeah, they really kind of shot themselves in the foot, and I don't want to say too much about whatever, because I don't want them to be able to prepare for stuff. But I mean, they're going to be cooked in court, inshallah. So here we go. All right, so real quick, here we go. Here's the original document. Why is it showing like that? Let me. Well, okay. So this is the original document. This is the original order that the judge gave. He said the TMOA argued to a motion to dismiss. Both defendant and plaintiff were there. Upon hearing the arguments of the counsel, it is hereby ordered that the defendant's motion to dismiss is denied. So they denied the motion to dismiss, as we talked about before. Yeah. And it is further ordered that the defendant's motion for extension, so he asked for an extension, and the judge gave them 21 days to respond. Okay. So just to show you have the documents, this is TMOA, or the lawyer, submitting the documents. It's just a letter saying that we submitted it on time, confirming that it's true, whatever. This is like a official receipt that is in the court of clerks, and this is their actual response. And as you see how it's set up, it's more of an actual legal document, because they're actually answering each one of the paragraphs, each point brought up in the initial complaint. So as you can see, just so you can get a kind of like a gist of how this is respond to paragraph 1, they say TMOA is without sufficient knowledge to admit or deny the allegations contained in paragraph 1. Then to paragraph 2, the allegations contained in paragraph 2 of the complaint are admitted. And like say paragraph 6, they say the allegations contained in the paragraph 6 of the complaint are denied. So it kind of goes on like this, with some of them having a little bit more detail. So we'll refer back to this document when we need to get more detail for certain responses. But what we're going to share as we talk about this is actually Sal's initial complaint with the notes of how they actually responded. So I just wanted to show this so that we can confirm to the people that we're not like lying. We're not making stuff up, as you guys should already know. We have all the points. There's 39 paragraphs. They responded to each paragraph. Okay. So let me share the original document, or the original complaint anyway. Where's it at? So we want the initial complaint. Okay, there we go. All right, so here's the initial complaint. And maybe we can do it like this. And we'll read this out. Let me zoom in on this a little bit so you guys can see it better.
If you want, you can read them out. And I actually have the documents right here on deck anyway. So if you want here, you feel what I'm saying?
Well, I got the notes. See, if you see in the red, I got their notes. I put how they actually responded to each one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I put highlights on the ones that they actually gave some more like information so that we could point out like they're still contradicting themselves. So I put some on there. But
regardless, we're fully prepared.
Yes. So. And I feel bad for the lawyer because he's basically trying to salvage their initial response of trying to dismiss. These are all legal documents.
But I'm sure he's used to this. His clients making him look like fools because I'm sure plenty of people come in and regularly lie. And this is going to go down in history books. I promise you, inshallah, that he's going to be telling his children and grandchildren about this one because it was going to be a circus of a case and who he was defending.
Yep.
I can see it now, inshallah.
So the first one is Sal's team says Sal Rahim is a natural person who resides in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And their response to that is, we have no knowledge to either admit or deny whether he's a resident of the Commonwealth of Virginia, which is okay. Like Sal could have moved out of Virginia. He could have left or whatever. So they're just saying we have no knowledge about that. The second paragraph, or the second point that Sal brought up, or Sal's legal team, it says Tmoa is a corporation which owns land in the Commonwealth of Virginia and engages activity in Commonwealth of Virginia. And they admitted it. They said yes. Even though that goes against their initial responses, like we're not the right ones, right?
Right.
We aren't the right people.
This whole document goes against that, automatically incriminates you.
Yeah.
That you said you weren't the right people. And then now you're admitting to some things and then denying some things.
Yeah.
But once again, that keeps going back into the fact that they're lying to y'all on the most basic level. They're not even trying to hide their lies.
Yeah.
Like how many times does a liar have to lie for you to believe he's a liar?
Mm-hmm. And it's not like one. This is Tmoa. This is all of their high level administrations involved in this. I'm sure strategizing
together. Yes, exactly.
So it's not one person just like, oh, it's just one bad leader, or it's just so and so Khalifa or so and so mayor. No, this is all of them. They're liars, and they're counting on y'all not paying attention.
Yeah, impulsive lying is different. This is well thought out scheming. This is malicious and evil, like I told y'all. And they're going to keep on doing it, keep on doing it, keep on doing it. As long as they can get away with it, they're never going to stop doing it.
Yep. And he said, Muhammad Ishmael Abdul Haq, which is Kari Ishmael, quote unquote, is a natural person who resides in the Commonwealth of Virginia on property owned by Tmoa in Charlotte County. So they admit, he lives on the land. They said, he lives on the land. So they admitted to that. The venue is improper in this court because this complaint is based on action that occurred in Charlotte, Virginia. So first they tried to deny that this was the correct court because they denied that they're the right people. But now they're admitting like, this is the correct court. This is right. Okay, so they admitted that. The fifth paragraph, Tmoa owns considerable acres of land in Virginia, which is located over a score of mobile homes. A family lives in each such mobile home. So they admitted like, yes, we actually do own that land. It is us. It's correctly us. Sorry, we lied, y'all.
Right. And Fati and them, they were already talking about in the other document that they didn't own any property. So once again, we should put a lie counter up on the screen when we're covering one of these documents, so people can see the scope in which they're being lied to. Seriously, because
Yeah.
when you
Like,
visualize it, like
ding.
when they see the number of lies contained in this document, it's going to be astonishing.
And the thing is, it'd be one thing if they're actually like good liars, because like a good liar will just like hold to their lie, like, nope, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. They can't even stick to like one lie. So they lie about one, then they lie back about another lie, and like you can't even really keep up with the number of lies that they have. He says they said the head of household in each such mobile home pays rent to TMOA. Then they say they deny that. They deny that anybody pays rent to TMOA, this is what the case all kind of centers around. This is why they're lying about membership dues and people having to pay to actually live on the properties and all that, which they're going to be in a big surprise when they actually get into court.
Right. They think they could just say that, and then the judge and stuff is going to just go over their head or not reach them. No, that's going to open up a whole nother can of worms. Y'all can't play the word semantics in there. Oh, it's not rent. It's just a gift or a fund rent. No, that's not going to work.
Yeah. And again, it's the judge has pretty much already shown his hand, like, no, this is going to pretty much go to trial. They put all these same things in their, well, not all the same things, but some of these main points that they're trying to get the case dismissed. They put this in their first dismissal attempt by basically they said no one pays rent, right? So we're not landlords. Right, they said this already, and the judge said, "No, I deny your motion to dismiss." So it's not even about the judge right now. It could be because this is going to a jury trial. They're going to have to convince a jury of peers of people of Virginia citizens that what they charge people to live on TMWA is not rent, and no one's going to believe that. They're going to be like, "No, that's rent." Whether it's you call it membership dues, whether you call it land tax fees, whatever you want to call it, y'all collect money for people to live there.
Right, because if they don't pay it, they won't live there. You won't allow them to live there if they don't pay it. So if that's not rent, then what is?
Yeah, exactly.
Again, these are just silly little word games. This is word solid,
Yeah.
Most of us already know what it is, so this is silly.
Number 7, it says Raheem is a head of a household of one such mobile homes which belongs to him. That mobile home is a Palm Harbor 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, single wide. So they admitted that Sal is the owner of a mobile home, that he lived there. And then they also said they do not know about the make and model of the mobile home, which is like, okay, whatever. It's irrelevant. Like, they don't know about it. Okay, cool. So they probably told the truth there, actually. Since about 1999, Raheem has paid rent to TMOA. So they denied, and that goes right to their whole stance of people don't pay rent to live here. Okay. And it's all really going to boil down to what is the correct definition or understanding of what rent is, right? Mm-hmm. What is the actual landlord-tenant relationship? And they'll have to prove that they don't have a landlord-tenant relationship with the people who live on the land, which they are not going to be able to prove. They aren't.
Let's say they use some type of method to be able to wiggle out of that. Let's say they use a type of term to be able to wiggle out of that. But then they're going to have to answer the question that, the elephant in the room: why was everyone paying you all money?
Yeah.
What was it for? Then they're going to try to go into some, it was for donations and blah, blah, blah. But once again, if it was donations, then why is the penalty removal or dismissal if it's donations? And these are some of the hard questions that they're going to be faced with and they're going to have to address.
Not only that, if it's quote unquote donations, why do the donations have due dates? Why are people coming to your door not collecting donations like clockwork on a dollar? If it's a donation, it's your choice to give when you want, how you want, as long as the project is going on. And
for them being a nonprofit organization that collects donations, they should be giving receipts. There's certain type of schedules they have to fill out, tax forms to confirm, because you can write off your donation.
Write off all those, exactly.
Yeah. So it's going to clearly, when they get into the weeds of it, it's going to clearly show, and we're going to get to that later, how they are a cult, how the money does only go to benefit leadership, or at least it doesn't go to benefit the people, and we'll get to that point later. But one thing I want to mention real quick is, I'm pretty sure, and I'm not a lawyer, but even like, say for instance, this is how it is in New York. let's say I have a house and I'm letting my brother stay in one of my rooms. And he's been staying there for, like, let's just say, from like Sal's situation, since 1999. And then one day I say, get out. I never charged him rent. He's never paid $1 for me. He's never helped out with the bills. Guess what? I still have to go through the formal process of evicting him. I can't just throw him on the streets because I'm still the landlord. I'm the owner of the property, and I'm allowing this person to stay there. Whether they pay rent or not does not establish the landlord-tenant relationship. They are still a tenant in my house, even if I'm not charging anything. I'm responsible for the upkeep of the house, the maintaining of the house, and all that. And if I wanted to kick him out, I'd have to go and actually issue him a notice and say, hey, by so-and-so date, you got to be out of here. Blah, blah, blah. If he doesn't leave, I have to go to the sheriff's office and say, hey, he's not allowed to be here. I have to go change locks and all these different things. So they're trying to like bank on the fact of like, maybe we can prove that these membership dues and land tax fees and whatever fees you have to pay to land, that it's not considered. We never called it rent, so it's not rent. It doesn't matter. You still have a landlord-tenant relationship with every single person that lives on that land. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Number 9, in addition, in addition to being a landlord and landlord as to its land ownership, TMOA is a religious cult with many members, the TMOA members, who do the bidding of the TMOA cult. And they denied that, right? Which,
meanwhile, y'all doing that in this case.
Yeah,
by throwing Ishmael under the bus because he was doing your bidding. And then there's plenty more to follow. He was the first of many. Throughout this case, they're about to just be throwing them. They're about to be throwing Hail Marys. Mushiba, they're coming for you.
Number 10, he says, as a cult, TMOA calls on the TMOA members to pay what TMOA describes as monthly membership dues of 10% of the income of each member. Denied. They denied this and then claimed. So if we go back to number 10, wait, I have to share a different screen.
Yeah, I got it right here. It says TMOA accepts. Now listen to this language, you all. And again, everyone who's paying this, everyone who's in the community, y'all know this is a lie. TMOA accepts loosely structured contributions for the development and infrastructure, land development, and community affairs. So, of course, we all know that there is no real land development. There is no development of infrastructure. I mean, the greatest miracle in the history of mankind that sits in, upstate New York, Hancock, New York, the building of its greatest miracle, it's still half done.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, y'all. This is the greatest miracle, and y'all don't even have enough wherewithal to simply put money into this structure or this building, which is the greatest miracle in the history of mankind.
Yeah, and for them to say that they deny that claim, right, of what Sal made, and then this is their response that, okay, you can deny TMOA is not a cult. Okay, you could deny that. That's fine. Whatever. Of course, you got to deny that. But you say TMOA accepts loosely structured contributions for the development and infrastructure. So we already know it's not for that, but you accept loosely structured contributions. Okay, that's your definition of it. Maybe you can, it's a subjective term, loosely structured contributions. But let's go back to what Sal said in the original complaint was they describe TMOA members pay what TMOA describes as monthly membership dues of 10% of the income of each member. Everybody knows that it's true. You call them membership dues, true. Is it 10% of the income? True. Whether you want to describe that as a loosely structured whatever, that doesn't matter. What he said is true. And it's going to be so easy to prove that with all the documentation that we have out there of you guys collecting and enforcing membership dues, whether it's monthly, bi-weekly, weekly, people have to pay 10% of their income. And you guys call it membership dues.
Let's be clear about the 10%. And we all know this because there was debates on what type of 10%, meaning was it 10% of your monthly income or was it 10% of the surplus after, you've paid all your bills? It was 10% of your total monthly income. So if you made $1,000 in that month, you had to pay $100 versus if you made $1,000, then you paid all your bills and you had $100 left. They take 10% of the surplus, which would be $10 of that $100 that's left over. No, they don't do it like that. They make sure you come off the top with their 10%, but it's loosely constructed. Okay.
Yep. And so the 11th point was Hawk is in the leadership of Tmoa, and they denied that, and they gave some extra wording regarding that one as well. So let me share that.
Yeah, I got that right here too.
So they say the allegations contained in paragraph 11 are denied, notwithstanding that denial. Hawk, and this is where they're just shooting themselves in the foot. Hawk is a volunteer caretaker of Tmoa property located in Charlotte County, VA. So that now, first he was just a volunteer. Now he's a volunteer caretaker.
Well, he was the mayor because he had put his signature on his mayor.
Well, they're denying all that. They're just saying he just basically was this rogue dude. He wrote that letter by himself. So they're going to deny all that. But what they've actually said in their responses is one, that he's a volunteer, but now they elaborated a little bit more and say he's a volunteer caretaker. Now, a caretaker, you can interpret that multiple different ways, right? But so when you take care of something, when you're working with an organization and you volunteer for that organization has to accept you as a volunteer. That means you're authorizing them to operate in whatever capacity that they're operating in as that volunteer, right? So if R2F says someone comes and says, "Hey, I want to volunteer for R2F and I want to edit videos," and it was like, "Yeah, go ahead. We authorize you to go edit videos and publish videos on our YouTube site." And they go out there and start putting like child porn on our YouTube site. Guess what? We're still accountable because we authorize them to go do it. We can't say, "Oh, he's a volunteer caretaker of our YouTube channel." No, we authorize him to do that. Volunteer only means you don't get paid.
That's a good point. Real good point.
That's it. So, and the other way you can interpret caretaker is that you guys authorized him to take care of that land. Now, was he and we know what in context that means is that basically he was, as we talked about this on one of the previous shows, he was what do you call them? What do you call them in apartment buildings that they're the ones that collect rent, fix it up, and not the maintenance. I forget the term, but basically he's the one managing your property. So you're actually confirming that you guys did give him some authority and he is representing Tmoa. What's that?
Like a property manager, project
manager? A property manager, yeah. What is a property manager besides a caretaker of a property? It's the synonyms.
And then on top of all that, they backed him up with their official dismissal letter the day after that.
Yep. And because they're acting like which we'll get into it, they acting like they have no idea what happened or what's going on at all. Because they get into a lot of, we don't have the proper knowledge to respond to this. So we'll get back into it. All right, so number 12, Hawk has represented to members that membership dues are used for purposes including, now this is an interesting one. It says membership dues are used for a purpose including infrastructure, land development, and community functions. And their response to that was they have a lack of knowledge to admit or deny. So basically, we don't know what they're saying. We don't know what Ishmael did. We have no idea. But it's very funny how the wording that Ishmael used, infrastructure, land development, and community functions. Let's go back to their response. And let's look at the wording that they actually used. They'll say to what the money's for. They said the money's for the development of infrastructure, land development, and community affairs. They literally said the same exact thing.
They quoted
but then they
themselves.
denied it.
Right. They quoted their quote and then denied it within that quote.
Oh,
Like,
man.
these dudes out here speaking with like 5-6 tongues. It's not even 2 tongues at this point.
Yeah.
So bad. So bad. 13, the representation recited in paragraph 12 of this complaint has been untrue. Yes, we know that's untrue. Membership dues have not substantially been used for such purposes, rather to benefit leadership of TMOA. So they just denied that. They're basically, if you deny that, then you're affirming that the money was actually used for infrastructure, land development, community functions, which, guess what? You will have to prove in court. You will have to come and say, you know what? We collected X million dollars, and X million dollars was used for infrastructure, land development, and community functions.
So what they've been doing since this whole situation popped off, they've been trying to actually clean up their act. Now, unfortunately for them, it's not going to be sufficient because you're going to have to go and clean up 40 years of money laundering, 40 years of corruption. So just a few months is not going to make that up. So we drive past the the land in question, the VA land, regularly, and now they have a black gated fence up there. They have a black fence that looks pretty luxurious, and
they upgraded.
Yeah, they've upgraded and made a few adjustments. So this is something that they're going to try to call themselves bringing into court. But again, you're going to have to walk all of this information back all the way to the early 2000s, which is not going to be a thing.
Exactly. The date is 1999. So you're going to have to account for every single receipt, all the millions of dollars you guys collected since 1999, and show where you spent it on the community. And we'll be able to show, not we, or Sal will be able to show when people send in their documentation to him and his lawyer that people have specifically asked you guys, can we use the membership dues to help with the local land, the infrastructure, the land development, community affairs? And the leadership of TMOA said, absolutely not. This money goes to Pakistan, to Shah Sahib. So they're really, they're going to get the book thrown at them.
Right. It goes way deeper than that, because the amount of lies that are just in this one document, just try to grasp the scope of the amount of lies told in the last 40 years, the amount of forgery that was done in the past 40 years. And they think they're going to get out of that forgery by forging more documents. This is what they think. But once again, this all goes and plays into stupidity and arrogance, and how when you try to make a mockery of Allah, Prophet Islam, and the Deen, you're only mocking yourself. Allah is going to make you look like a fool all the time. Just like when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said multiple times in the Holy Quran about the people who oppress others, they're oppressing themselves if they only but knew. Allah says this all the time. So y'all doing all this stuff, and all it's going to do is backfire on y'all, because at the end y'all are standing on lies and falsehood, which is your whole core, your whole belief system is falsehood. Tmoa, falsehood. Everything y'all doing is falsehood, and then y'all sprinkle in a little truth, a little Quran and Sunnah, just to band-aid it enough so y'all can continue bleed. They're trying to put a band-aid on it, but then they're pushing on the wound so more blood can come out and it can suck everybody dry. Yeah, it was a quote I heard from somebody, but it made perfect sense when it was done with TMOA. It said something of the likes of, don't be my enemy by night and try to be my friend by day, or destroy me by night and then heal me by day, type of thing. But that's what they do. They do all their dirt and stuff in the still of the night, and then they wake up, put on this mask, and masquerade as if they're some tool for good. You aren't a tool for good, because you already know intentions is what matters most. Not saying I know your intentions, but your actions will be indicative of your intentions. Y'all are going out doing all this good, but y'all are only doing it for the benefit of yourselves. In reality, you're trying to do this good, and the only thing you're doing is destroying yourself. And y'all have been for 40 years, and it's coming ahead, and it will come to an end, inshallah.
Inshallah.
So number 14, this is on about June 21st, or 2021. Raheem, who had been paying membership dues, refused to continue paying such dues. They said they have lack of knowledge of that, even though they like gave their own story of how all what happened in their last response. They supposedly knew that this was like a family affair. They knew that Ishmael went to his brother-in-law and they were disputed. They knew all these details that they put in official court documents, but now they're saying, yeah, we don't know anything about that. Number 15, Raheem indicated to Tmoa that the reason stopped paying membership dues was because it did not appear the membership dues were being used to benefit the members of Tmoa. They say, yeah, we don't know about that either. Number 16, Hawk is on his own, and for Tmoa attempted to persuade Hawk on his own and for Tmoa attempted to persuade Raheem to resume paying membership dues going forward. Raheem refused. They say we don't know about it, and they also deny any leadership or any affiliation with Hawk. Right? They pretty much say further, Tmoa denies that Hawk was acting on behalf of Tmoa in any conversations between him and Raheem.
Scroll it up a little bit. Scroll it up a little bit. The paper.
Hold on a second. Where's it? Go. There you go.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
All right. Then they say on his own and for Tmoa, Hawk wrote and signed a letter to Raheem, copy of which is attached here to marked Exhibit A. So they also say they have no knowledge of it and they deny it, right? Which they have knowledge of it because they responded specifically about that letter. And what they should have been saying is that, Hawk was acting on his own. And this is what happened if this was, like we mentioned this before, this is what happened if they were actually telling the truth. If Ishmael was actually acting on his own, they would have addressed that by either, evicting him or some kind of disciplinary.
They would have also reached out to the one who was oppressed, the one who got dealt justly. They would have reached out to Salman and tried to see what was going on. To date, and to my knowledge, I speak with Salman regularly, there's been no such attempt from the leadership or the people who's claiming they have no knowledge of this. You all are aware that this happened, obviously. So why has there been no attempt to reach Salman, contact him, and see what's going on and try to get the situation rectified before it even got to this position? Because you all were aware, and y'all actually confirmed the document that Ishmael put out. You know what I'm saying? Y'all backed it up a few days later. So
not only did they not do that, they did the polar opposite. Instead of reaching out to him and trying to get to the bottom of it, they went on a smear campaign and tried to ostracize him. So that proves that one, you were well aware of it, but two, your malicious intent to go out and make the situation even worse.
Yep. So so in essence, what they did is they did let's just go with their narrative. If Ishmael, they already confirmed that Ishmael actually does work, that he had the authority to work on their behalf. They said he was a volunteer for the organization and a caretaker of the land. So they gave him authority to act on behalf of Tmoa for that land. Then they're saying, okay, even though he was a volunteer, even though he had our authority to work on the land and run the land or whatever, he acted on his own without our knowledge. For when he would kick them off the land and issue them a letter or whatever, we didn't have anything to do with that. Okay, so and instead of doing like what Hussein and Mo have mentioned, as far as like, okay, we found out this wrong happened to one of our tenants, one of our people who live there, we need to rectify the situation. Instead, they reaffirmed the actions of Ishmael by issuing another letter saying, yes, he is kicked out of the community because he doesn't want to pay membership dues. So they issued that. They're going to try to bank on like, oh, they might not be able to trace exactly where that message came from and who issued it and all that different things. But that's not going to really matter because all you have to do is bring in any witnesses that say they received this message and that it came in, because now they're going to have to throw somebody else under the bus and say, oh no, this person, because they didn't take any action to say, okay, because there should be some statement out there like, hey, this is Tmoa official representative. Just to let you know, there's people out there sending out messages in our name, and we do not stand by them. right? If that was the case.
None of
And
that.
we know that's not the case. Okay. On his own and for Tmoa, Hawk instructed Mushtaba, a member of Tmoa, to take Exhibit A to the mobile home and use it to demand that Raheem leave his home. Again, they claim lack of knowledge and that they deny that, Ishmael was acting on behalf of Tmoa. On the night of, interesting thing, just a sidebar, interesting thing is going to be, because, Ishmael is like, he's on the run or he's hiding or whatever. He doesn't want to show up in court. But it's going to be interesting when the representatives of Tmoa sit on the stand and get cross-examined, get questioned, and they confirm that Ishmael lives on their property. And when the lawyer asks, so he lives on the property, he lives there, and what has happened to him since he's done all this stuff in your name? Because they didn't kick him out. They didn't evict him. They didn't do any of that. He's still living there, no issues, right? So that's going to be interesting to see them answer those types of questions.
Good point.
On the night of September 14th, Rauf and the company of two members of Tmoa went to the mobile home, and one of the three knocked on the door of the mobile home. One of Raheem's son had opened the door, and Raheem told Raheem that Rauf was at the door. Raheem came to the door, went outside of the porch. Rauf told Raheem that he was told to hand Exhibit A to Raheem and have Raheem read it. Rauf told Raheem to read Exhibit A. They say we have no knowledge of that, so they're basically acting like they have no idea what any of this happened, right? That's the same for number 20, where Raheem read the letter. Rauf then said that he had been told to tell Raheem to leave now, and they're saying we have no idea about any of this stuff. Number 22, in order to avoid any physical disturbance, Raheem left the mobile home after telling members of his household that he had to leave, explaining that it was because he wasn't paying membership dues. Again, they say we have no knowledge of this. 23, Raheem went to his sister's house and spent the night there away from his family. They say we have no knowledge of that. Raheem has been away from his family ever since and has not returned to the mobile home. They deny, and they refer to the incident where the police were called. So let's bring up their response. This was number 21, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it 21?
Let me see.
Oh, right, no, 24. Okay. So they say Tmoa denies the allegations. This right here. They deny the allegations contained in paragraph 24 of the complaint, as Raheem did come back to the property and inform the police, who also came to the property. The police told Raheem that he did not have to leave, but Raheem left voluntarily. Okay, that is true, but they're trying to add that basically they're trying to go back to their initial stance that Raheem's can still live there. We never evicted him, right? But you notice they didn't put that in their complaint. When he went back, did any of the leadership of Tmoa say, hey, Ishmael's going rogue? What he said to you was wrong. You could stay here. No, y'all tried to make him leave. And everybody there tried to make him leave. All the community members there tried to make him leave. Why else would your whole cult act that way if they knew that the leadership supported them in this action?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So again, just more and more lies. Okay. 25, the facts recited in paragraph 17th to 14th of this complaint were intentionally caused by Tmoa and by Ishmael with the intent to keep Raheem away from his home and to cause him extreme distress. They deny that. They deny 26. Basically, they deny pretty much everything else in this complaint about them trying to cause harm, about their intent to cause harm. They deny all this stuff. Everything else for the rest of the document is pretty much denied or no response. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's the updates that they denied everything. They claim lack of knowledge, and it kind of boils down to that their position that they're going to go to in court is that one main point is they're going to claim that there's no tenant landlord relationship because people don't pay rent. That's their one stance that they're going to try to defend on, is that people don't pay rent, right? And they're going to try to defend and say membership dues go to help the community. It doesn't help the leadership, which they're going to have to prove that, which they won't be able to. And the second thing that they're trying to assert is that Khalifa Ishmael, Qari Ishmael, previous mayor of the VA land, was acting on his own and not on behalf of TMOA. So by saying he's a volunteer. And if they did know anything, and I mean, I'm pretty sure the lawyer told them, but probably told them that this is their only angle to try to defend themselves, is to claim that he's a volunteer. But if you do any legal research on nonprofit organizations or people being sued, even if you go look up some of the situations with the Catholic Church where boys were getting abused and stuff, some of them were by volunteers. Some of the priests and preachers were volunteers. However, those organizations still got sued for millions of dollars because those volunteers were working for that organization and representatives of that organization while they were volunteering. All volunteer means is that you're an unpaid employee. That's all that means. That's all that means. He's an unpaid employee, representative of TMOA, and they're going to have to answer for his actions.
All right. So apparently we actually had another document, and we do apologize. I thought we had it. It must be, maybe it's in my car or something like that. I probably left it but this document right here, it's a one-page paragraph, and me and my brother, we read it. We actually seen it, so we know exactly what it entails. Basically, they're trying now to put some heat or some pressure on Salman. So they issued this document and basically stating that he had 30 days to remove his mobile home off of their property. I cannot believe we forgot that. I thought we had it, but it's all good. He has 30 days to remove his mobile home off of their property, or they're going to take legal action.
So wait. So they're claiming that they didn't evict them,
right?
But now they're evicted.
They actually put in the language that he is going to be evicted from their property given 30 days. And so what I think that they're trying to do, obviously, is trying to scare him and get him to just drop the whole situation. You know what I'm saying? And what's crazy about this is, okay, you all know that his family, his wife and his children live in the home on the land. So this goes in direct contradiction of what they were saying about, we deny we're trying to cause him any harm or any stress. 30 days to uproot his whole house. We're not talking about move a car off. You know, we're talking about a whole house that has a septic and a well. You know what I'm saying? And everything attached to it, and associated porches and all that stuff. Move his whole crib. Obviously, they might not even care if his wife and his children are in the house as moving. So this goes directly against what they were just saying about, we're not trying to cause him any harm. You're giving him 30 days to pretty much evict him.
Did they give a reason in that paragraph?
A specific reason? No.
Yeah.
Not that I know of.
Again.
Hold on.
Yep, go ahead.
I got you, Jaffer.
I'm about to say, I mean, what's the website? We should be able to.
No, we're good. We got it.
Oh, we got it?
Yeah, if you can pull it up, Jaffer.
Yeah, Mo. Get that.
While you're pulling it up, so y'all can see once again that we're not lying, to go on your point, it's so asinine, it's so idiotic, and it's so blatant that you're not even taking yourself serious. Even if Sal was to listen and go and try to get his house moved, there isn't a company on earth that's going to be able to get to that within 30 days.
Right.
Literally.
Right.
There is no company. We live out here. We know how long that takes.
There we go.
No company that will get that done in 30 days. And they know that. The people that issued that are aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, they're playing these games and using these tactics.
All right, so we're going to read this here. I'll read it.
Does not create. Go ahead.
Dear Mr. Rahim, I am writing to you on behalf of Tmoa Incorporated. It is my client's position that your prior residency on property owned by Tmoa in Charlotte County, Virginia, and your family's continued residency on said property does not create a legal tenancy under Virginia law. However, in the event that a legal tenancy has been established, which you guys already denied that there is no legal tenancy, we already got that part. The tenancy is, at best, a periodic tenancy on a month-to-month basis. So now what they're claiming is that over the last 25 years since 1999, if there was a tenancy that was established, it's no contract. Sal is just paying month to month, and it's a periodic, temporary stay. At worst, it is an at-will tenancy. Interesting. Thus, please consider this your notice to vacate and remove all personal property items, including your whole entire house, within 30 days of receipt of this notice. Failure to do so could result in legal proceedings to evict you from the property. Enclosed, find a copy of the Virginia State Statement of Tenant Rights and Responsibilities.
So real quick, they're not moving well at all. So they're pretty much laying out the case right here in this other, because Becky said it's a scare tactic. Okay, very simply, what all Sal's lawyer has to do is just ask the judge in their court right now to just put I forget the terminology, but basically put a stay on this, halt this until we figure out what we're doing in court. Right? This will proceed no further until we figure out what we're going to court, because we have to establish whether they can. So now they're trying to actually evict him. So now they're saying there's not, like you said, there's no legal tenancy, saying there's no legal tenancy here. But at best, it's a month to month or at will, which means that we can kick you out at any point in time. Okay, that may be true. That's fine. And this may be a legal thing that you have 30 days to get your house out of here and go. If this is what they should have done in the very beginning, right? This is what they should have done. But since they're in another court right now, Sal just had, when they actually do go to court, or Sal's lawyer can submit a petition to the judge and say, hey, they submitted another legal proceeding, which will probably most likely happen. Now that I'm thinking about it, is that judge will pull this, whatever, if they do go to try to claim eviction, he'll pull that case into this case. He'll make it one case, right? So that Sal, they don't have to deal with it in different courts, which means none of this is going to be resolved. Like Sal doesn't really have to worry about his family going anywhere or him have to do anything until this judge in the lawsuit case actually deals with it.
Yeah, this was dated March 7th. So basically, they're trying to put the heat on to where they can do what Mubarak says, a red herring. They're trying to shift and get it over to there so that people can be, muck up the water real quick. Nope. Yeah. Staying right on the center line. We're staying right in front of this whole situation. And like you said, this could be sidestepped and, put a stay or a stop on it while we have the real meat and potatoes of the situation.
Yes. Because how can he get evicted if he might eventually own that land?
But once again, this one new document that they brought to the table says so much. It would take us more time to truly unpack it. But immediately seeing this, not even dealing with the legalities of it, this goes again to show you how evil the leaders of TMOA are, and the lack of regard for basic human rights and Muslim rights. Sal's family is still on that property, loyal to y'all, has nothing to do with what their father did specifically. That's why y'all still have them there on the land. But y'all are just about to throw them away when they did nothing to y'all. Y'all don't care where they go, whatever you're saying. They got 30 days to just figure it out when they did nothing. This is just TMOA in a nutshell.
They mean y'all harm.
That's clear.
If you go against what they, their little policies or procedures, or if you do any type of bucking, they mean you harm. This is why they traveled all the way to another property where his sister was staying and shook them down, bullied them, and pimped them, and told them, your brother can't stay here. He's this, he's X, Y, and Z. Woo, woo, wop. They went all the way because they mean him harm.
Absolutely.
So the women in Salman's family, inshallah, if you all are viewing this or listen, they mean your brother, your husband, your father harm. Clearly.
Your kids as well. Everybody in your family harm.
Their son, whoever, and they're willing to do this, you know what I mean? And they don't care if they throw the baby out with the bathwater. They don't care if the whole trailer mobile home gets uprooted and all the kids, all his wives, his children, they want it all gone. This is what they're saying. So you have to wisen up, pay attention, be more aware, and you have to have better loyalty. Like I said, it should be an uproar as to what's going on, but it's only a few people speaking out. And then you got people in the cracks and the crevices. Like I said, we regularly get contacted all the time. People, that's wrong what they're doing to Salman. They don't do nothing. But yet these same people who will say that's wrong, y'all go and y'all fraternize with these people, and y'all could be on the same side. When I was talking, I had a recent conversation with Sal, and he's literally, his mind is blown. He cannot believe he's being handled like this. He cannot believe they're carrying him like this. And I explained to him, think about how we've been handled and how we've been carried for the last 5 years. Some of us longer than that. You up in this joint for a few months. And, we explained that you're not, truthfully, Sal has to get a little bit more, I don't want to say angry, but he has to understand on a deeper level, these people mean you harm. This is why loyalty is very, very important. You know what I'm saying? So when they're shaking your wives down, turning your kids against you, the women in the family have to recognize what's going on. They do not care about you. Once all their little love bombing is done, you're just going to be cast aside. And as long as you're paying your money, as long as you're paying them that little membership or whatever, you can right over there. But no one's going to really care. They're just faking. They're doing this little love bombing with his, some of his family members. Oh, sure. They do this with everyone. They do this with, everyone. And it's crazy. It's sinister. It's malicious. And it's evil. There's no other way around it.
Yeah, let me hop in to give you some perspective on this as well. And to play off what you were saying, that's why the man is in charge, because he has to have a fighting mentality. We already clearly know their intent, which is harm. So what we and Sal have to do is punch them in the face first, because they're coming to do damage. And if we can't, the women and weak men will sit back and allow that to happen. Then once there's irreparable damage done, then they'll try to salvage. We're not even trying to salvage now. We're on the offensive now because we have to be. We've been on the defense for years, but we have to be. And then on top of that, just like we were saying, they know this once again goes to show you their evil intent. They know that you can't get your house up and move in 30 days. And they know that you can't even move into a new house within 30 days. They know this stuff. So they are absolutely content and okay going to sleep with the thought and notion of your family, your kids sleeping on the street somewhere. They don't even care. They'll be perfectly okay with that. Why? It's because this is what they have been doing their whole lives. This is not nothing new. This is regular normal to them. Absolutely regular normal. It's like breathing. And then we got all these fence riders and all these other people sitting here sucking their thumbs and sucking pacifiers, trying to be pacifists and trying to be neutral and all that stuff. No, we can't do that. And I'm about to go in. I need y'all to give me a quick second. Because this goes right.
Let me jump in real quick.
Go ahead, because I'm about to go in.
You got it. Let me send this message to my companion, Salman. We will not. I will not. And inshallah, the brothers here in R2F, the family here, we will not allow your family to be cast out on the streets. We will not allow them to be going hotel hopping. It will never happen. So you'll always, inshallah, continue to have a support system here. As long as I'm breathing, as long as I'm able and capable for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we won't let it happen. So you'll be protected in that regard, inshallah. Whatever they do, however it goes, inshallah. Go ahead, man.
Good message, which is true. But once again, this plays into the fence riders on the show that y'all did prior to this. The fence riders are becoming more and more and more at fault because y'all are enablers. Y'all are allowing it to happen. Y'all are getting swept with the current willingly. Y'all are trying to turn a blind eye to what y'all know is going on. Y'all are just turning your head and still stabbing, poking with the knife and prying with the knife. I'm not about to let this go any further. Like, y'all went real light on the fence riders compared to what I'm about to do. Because we're doing this because we want them to stop mistreating Muslims in general and our family.
Yep.
Y'all think that I'm about to sit here and do absolutely nothing when I see exactly how y'all are destroying Sal's family, which is my family? And this is not the first time y'all have done this, or it has hit this close to home with me. When y'all did it previously, I had less of a voice, less of a position. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I was less of a man. Now, y'all going to hear me, and I'm present. We aren't going anywhere. We're not scared of y'all, and y'all cannot beat us. The reason why y'all cannot beat us is because we're on the side of truth. All right? We're on the side of truth. So before I go any further, I would like to pull up some ayats in the Holy Quran to go into my point. And sort of to Saf, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm gonna read the first four ayats to build my point. This is my final name. I'm just gonna read English. It begins with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on the earth glorifies Allah, for He alone is the Almighty, all-wise. O believers, why do you say what you do not do? How despicable is it in the sight of Allah that you say what you do not do? Surely Allah loves those who fight in His cause in solid ranks, as if they were one concrete structure. And I read that to say, all Tmoa preached and preaches, and their mantra has always been, enjoin the good and forbid the evil. Enjoin the good, forbid the evil. All y'all fence riders are in contradiction and in contrary of your own mantra and Holy Quran and Sunnah at the same time. And that's why y'all are doing more damage and y'all will be accountable for it. And then on another note, all my family members and all the members within Tmoa that's always talking family this, we got to help family, do family that, do all of that. Why are y'all saying that? But when y'all feet are put to the fire, y'all aren't doing SHIT. Every fence rider is a coward. And y'all will suffer whatever the consequences of cowardice is. Not from me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to do that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-adl, like I told y'all. He's justice, pure justice. Y'all fence riders are enablers, and I have a big issue with y'all. And y'all are going to get weeded out because y'all are fakes and frauds. Just like the administration is going to get weeded out. They're fakes and frauds. But these Quranic ayats apply to all of us. I'm not exempt. Jaffar's not exempt. Hussein's not exempt. It applies to every single one of us. Y'all keep saying stuff that y'all aren't doing. But y'all are openly saying this stuff as if this is what makes y'all. Remember, we got told the whole time throughout TMOA, our life in the cult, we are so above other Muslims is specifically because we enjoin in the good and forbid the evil. Specifically.
Yeah.
Right. But they are doing the polar opposite. That's why everybody that debates and rebukes in private, but then bend over in public, I don't got nothing to say for y'all. I ain't cool with y'all. We ain't straight. We ain't nothing. You're either with us and on the side of truth, or you're against us and on the side of falsehood. There is no in between. There is no in between. And I'm getting so fiery about this is because, once again, I've seen them destroy the family of my best friend, Brother Shakur, with Kadir Basil and Sister Tahira, rahmatullahi alayhi. I sat there as a teenager and watched y'all break that family apart. I didn't have a voice. Y'all have done multiple things to my family members throughout the years. I didn't have a voice. Y'all think I'm about to sit here and not say nothing or do anything, and y'all trying to do this directly to my family again? Like, y'all really, this is y'all arrogance. Y'all really think that that's about to happen?
They're currently doing it to me. Currently doing it to my family. Doing it to me right now.
That's why we are in the thick of it right now. It's because y'all won't win, inshallah. and y'all will not get away with this.
Well,
It's all about to end.
The sad thing is, because Allah knows best what the result is. We all know what probably should happen. The sad thing for them is when you see some things that typically you're like, yeah, they're not going to get away with that, or they can't get away with that, and you see that they actually do. It actually makes you worry more about it, because like who said, like you guys said, Allah's justice, Allah's al-adl. There's going to be justice. So when you see those instances where they actually do get away with like some really bad stuff, you just know that Allah didn't wants them to be punished in the hereafter for it. Wants them to, and it's a really scary thing to think about. And all the people that get pulled into this, that have to testify on the stand, whether you're TMOA supporter or whatever, at the end of the day, you have to stand before Allah and answer for what you said, you did, and what you didn't say, and what you didn't do.
Exactly.
And there was a video we posted on some of our rooms and our channels about when Sheikh Omar Suleiman was talking about the 3 biggest sins, right? And one was shirk, of course. The second one was like disrespecting or disobeying your parents, and the third one was giving false testimony. So you already have the leadership of TMOA just in writing putting down false testimony. But like people like Mushtaba, you're going to be, if you don't go run and hide like your brother-in-law Ishmael, you're going to be pulled on the stand. If not, your wife probably is. Ishmael, since you're running and hiding, guess what? Your wife's probably going to get pulled on the stand, right? Like they could subpoena your wife. Like it's so despicable that these guys are such cowards that they're willing to just put their wives, like, I'm going to put you in the line of fire while I go run the Pakistan and hide, right?
They repeatedly sent their women to the courts. To represent. Didi was up there blurting out of her backside, or blurting out of one of her face, whatever, just blurting and just telling a bunch of lies. And they kept her up there on stand for literally like an hour, I guess, to be like their representative or whatever. And it was just crazy.
It's sad. It's sad. But we got to wrap up real quick. There was one question. Let me find it. It said, after this, I'll let you guys wrap it up and get your last word in. The one question was, how many members of TMOA actually pays dues and are not negligent? No one knows that exact number besides the people who actually collect those. I bet even TMOA members don't even know. They just know how much total money comes in every month, because they don't keep records, and they do that on purpose because they don't want anybody to actually know how much they collect. For situations just like this, they're going to go make up some fake books and say, oh, we only have, a few hundred members and people don't pay and all that. But if they subpoena the electronic transactions and all these different things, they'll be able to get an idea. Like, we already know that they collect millions of dollars, right? So it doesn't matter how many people are, how many people actually pay, how many people are negligent. I would say the majority of people are probably negligent, but you're talking about, around over 1,000 people in TMOA. And if you even just take half of those people and say they pay half of the time, you're still getting up close to the, in the millions of dollars of how much money they collect every year. You can do any estimate you want. They're collecting millions of dollars, but they will not have any record of it because they don't keep any records.
Yeah, that's very direct and intentional. So I'm going to say my closing statements, and then you have the floor, and I'm going to stop because I'll go on forever. Once again, we always try to bring it back to Holy Quran as much as we can. So I'm going to read another ayat from Surah An-Nisa. And I just came across this yesterday while I was reading Holy Quran. And it's not crazy. It's normal to me now. And it's not bragging, but this is what Allah does. He continuously gives me reassurance in our endeavors and what we're trying to do. This is why I'm so adamant when I speak, and I'm so passionate, I'm so confident. It's not coming from a place of arrogance. I always ask Allah, Ya Allah, please keep us humble and allow us to stay on the path that is pleasing to you, wherever that may be. So to get into it, in Surah An-Nisa, 135, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, O believers, stand firm for justice as witnesses for Allah, even if it's against yourselves, your parents, or close relatives, be they rich or poor. Allah is best to ensure their interests. So do not let your desires cause you to deviate from justice. If you distort the testimony or refuse to give it, then know that Allah is certainly all aware of what you do. So Allah SWT says so much, and I just came across this yesterday while reading. I had no choice but to bookmark because it applies to everything that's going on now. I am going to do my best to stand up for justice and truth, not just my justice based off of Allah's and Prophet Muhammad's rules and guidelines. So if it's my parents, brothers, sisters, aunt, nephew, uncle, niece, I don't care. Allah SWT said it doesn't matter. So I'm telling you, it does not matter because that's what my God told me, period. So we're going to continue fighting for justice. All the people that act like we can't chastise somebody because they're Ahli Bayt or because they're our parents or this and that, none of that means nothing to me because Allah SWT says that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean I'm just going to go and just be disrespectful and say whatever and do whatever. No. But I will be standing up for that. And then we know the well-known, I don't know if it was a hadith, but you know when Allah SWT is, one of the things that angers him the most is when a man says to his brother, fear Allah, and then he replies, worry about yourself. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if that's a hadith or an ayat in Holy Quran, but we're fully aware of that. So that is bad. But then Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he went even deeper on it to narrate more. And he explained, feeling offended every time you are given advice is a clear symptom of an ill heart. Even if the advice isn't given in the best manners, take the advice and leave the rest. All y'all that keep on saying this stuff, oh, it's how they said it and they disrespect this and all that. Once again, these are weak excuses that hold zero weight. Zero weight. Once again, not in just our eyesight, but based off what Allah SWT says. Do we err sometimes? Yes, we're going to keep saying that, and we're going to keep erring and trying to fix it. We're humans. That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. But that does not justify y'all and allow y'all to sweep anything that's going under the rug. Injustices, oppression, clear mockery of Islam, trying to make mockery of Allah SWT and Rasulullah. We won't stand silent ever till this day. We will be here until there is no more Tmoa.
And it's very interesting you said that, Ma. I know we got to wrap up here. It's interesting that you had just brought that up because someone very, very close to you, Mo, said this to me the other day. And I guess thought it was, Ittaq Allah, trying to use all this proper mukraj and all this stuff. Ittaq Allah. And I'm just looking at this person like, meanwhile, back at the ranch, you all are enabling this, what's going on, this corruption. You're old enough, smart enough, and wise enough at this point to know what's right and what's wrong, what you should be defending, what you should be against, what you should be protecting. You know this, and you're telling me, Ittaq Allah, fear Allah, and wop. And I'm just looking like, I'm just in a state of amazement. Like, and again, it's not, of course, obviously, anyone can say that to anybody, and it would always apply. Yep. But the unmitigated gall of you saying that to me in the current situation and what we were actually talking about and dealing with, I'm just like, and it's ridiculous. But again, I'm not going to get into that. It
reminds me real quick, just before I close out. It reminds me of I have a non-Muslim sister who apostatized from Islam, and these people who, when they say fear Allah or they bring up hadith or whatever, they only bring these things up in regards to what they actually want out of the situation.
Right.
Well, it's sorry, Jaffar's battery died, but no, it's all right. We'll take it up here and we'll close it out. I'm not going to keep you up much longer. So, inshallah, everybody that is listening has a blessed Ramadan, successful Ramadan. We all obtain Allah's forgiveness, inshallah, and we maximize. Of course, we will not be covering any more Tmoa during Ramadan per usual. That's a time for us to reflect and deal with ourselves so we can try to obtain the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and become better humans, Muslims, inshallah. So, if there are any developments with Tmoa, then they'll have to wait till after Eid, inshallah. Any videos we do post will be dealing with Ramadan and Islam in general, inshallah. So,
Yes,
you have anything else to say?
yeah, we still will, put out our shorts and our clips and stuff like that.
Yeah, those are still going to roll out.
Like my brother said, I mean, actually, you took all the words out of my mouth. I was going to wrap it up with Ramadan too.
Oh,
I
no.
Ramadan, but
Yeah, no, it's very important.
Yeah, we appreciate everyone, tuning in, and we want to make sure that we keep everyone updated on the situation. That's why we tried to hurry up and get this out this morning. Oh, okay, here it goes.
Okay, it's back.
All right.
All right.
You changed
We were
clothes?
just about to close it out.
It looked like he changed clothes and everything.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, all right. Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim. Assalamu alaikum, brother.